And we're back. Oh, shit. Still in Tiny Experiment 002, where we read 10 pages, bleh, where we read 10 pages a day. So let's get into it. I did it. It wasn't perfect, but we did it. So today felt like reading was something that just kind of, again, like I shared, I believe on yesterday's live, once I'm like into the flow of reading and I press that play button because I deeply appreciate the immersive experience where I am listening to the audiobook and reading at the same time. Once I hit that play button, I'm locked and loaded. So, but I still recognize like the kind of friction between like, oh, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done. And then like once we're locked and loaded, it's a void. Um, so I feel like the moment that stuck with me the most, still reading Tiny Experiments, is something that I had already felt before even reading the words. And that's like that feeling of, you know what? This is just me still describing how I felt. There's one moment where I was like, man, this doesn't feel like work, but it's more again like the idea of like feeling I need to get this reading done. That's what is feeling like work. And that's where I recognize I am proactively creating my own resistance because once we hit the play, she real cute. So, but this is what stuck with me the most. Once you have this positive momentum, it doesn't feel like work. And I was definitely like, mm, I feel that. Literally. I feel that. So I am really looking forward to, I feel like this still kind of falls in line of like being productive, goal setting, breaking through former ideas of creating to-do lists and again just leading the day-to-days with curiosity versus like what are the goals, what's the objective, what's on that to-do list. Oh, not the light going out. Why did she do that? Oh, oh my the light that the battery look, I can't even the light is connected to the battery pack and the battery pack just died. So I need to oh, because I had the light and the MacBook plugged into the same battery pack, and I think it was at like 34%. I'm like, yeah, that's enough time. But guess if you have more than one item plugged up, that's going to naturally generate more energy. So I do have a long cord. So it's the battery pack that needs to be charged. So, and I do have another outlet behind me. Un momento. See, once I get a soundboard, I can like play some hold music. What is that? That Jeopardy music or, the do 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 something. Okay, that was dramatic for no reason at all whatsoever. Let's get another little sip in. So we unplugged it and then we plugged the battery pack up and the battery pack was like, try this again in 30 minutes. It is pretty warm. I had the light plugged into this, the MacBook plug into this. Um, yeah, so there's just a lot going on. So note to self, start with a full charge and perhaps don't plug in too many things. So Um, where did we leave off at? So, yeah, that was the moment that stuck out to me in the book is recognizing that reading doesn't feel like work, but rather uh, recognizing I'm creating my own resistance by putting reading on some sort of like mental to-do list. It's not like I'm, making that to-do list, but yeah, I'm definitely putting it on some sort of mental to-do list. So, yeah, I definitely need to rework that by just doing it. Just I gotta Nike that shit, basically. Um, so another another moment that I recognized in the day was there were a few free moments in the day where I did proactively have the opportunity to read. Today I read later in the day than I did yesterday. Yesterday I read it was probably about 2:30 p.m. Today I read when I got home, and I got home when the live was supposed to start, and and because I got home late, that just put, like, the evening routine, everything just ran late. Once I get home, I like to immediately wash my hands, wash my face, and reset any spaces that need to be reset, and then I sat down to read, and as I was reading, I recognized, like, dang, I had 3 other opportunities today to be able to, be productive so I am not feeling in rush mode. And then I was like, why did I do that? And then I recognized, oh, and perhaps you can relate to this too, but it's like, okay, like what habit or what unintentional practice that I recognize that I just like naturally do from day to day is like the things that I enjoy, like reading or writing or, whatever it might be that I enjoy. I have unintentionally created the practice of romanticizing the perfect moment. And, at the end of the day, there is no such thing as perfect. And if I am going to label a moment as the perfect moment, that perfect moment is now. It's always now. So I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I romanticized like again today when it was time to charge the vehicle, like there was like a 40-minute window where I had the opportunity to do that. And then I just recognized like, okay, today I'm charging it in a different space than I did yesterday. Yesterday, when I was charging the vehicle, I was charging the vehicle inside of a parking garage. It was cool, it was shaded, it was comfortable. Today, when I was charging the vehicle, it was in a parking lot. It was 97 degrees out today. Um, and so I found myself like looking for the perfect reading spot. I'm like, okay, ain't no way. I'm not finna read out here if it's 97 degrees outside and the vehicle is off and charging. I'm not about to sit here in 103 degrees and, attempt to focus or read. So then I found myself like looking for some shade. And then I went like back inside the store and I was like, well, if I buy something, maybe I can just sit cross legged on the floor of the store. But then low key, I was like, honestly, like, I don't want to get any dirtier than I already am. It's 97 degrees. So there's just like all these mental blocks that I kept creating because I wanted to romanticize the perfect moment, the perfect setting, and all of it was unnecessary. So it just kind of like continued to push back the day, push back the day, push back the day. And so finally, when I got home, I was like, well, I can either start the live on time and have no progress, or I can still continue to remain in flow and, I'll get there when I get there. So, that is another mental thought process that stood out for me today. And yeah, so I was able to recognize it's less about creating the perfect moments and more about recognizing that perfect moment. It's always in the now, period. So where am I now? I am here. I am present. I read 10 pages today. how he did that shit. I read some pages today. Today is day 2 of showing up on the live stream for Tiny Experiment 002. So I am looking forward to definitely outside of reading for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to having those mental breakthroughs of, you know, recognizing that the perfect moment is now. And yeah, the perfect moment is always now, and comfort comes from within. So no matter where I am, no matter what the temperature is, like I am my own space of comfort. So that's where I am now. So absolutely 100% looking forward to that mental growth tomorrow and remaining in flow because this doesn't feel like work, but this is always a WIP, work in progress. So that's all I got for today. Until then, we will be back tomorrow with new data, the same experiment. I'll be back.